Good late Wednesday, meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now because of a very dangerous situation in Oklahoma as storms are really overachieved there tonight. I've seen tornadic action come together stronger than anticipated here. We've seen some significant tornadoes, it would appear. Most of them in more rural areas, though. We have had some of this action impact some homes and cause some injuries, it would seem, but that's according to KWTV there in the Oklahoma City area. That reported some injuries there back off toward the west of this, but this is a higher populated area with a significant tornado that may be about to impact the areas around Shawnee here. So around Shawnee there in Oklahoma, you need to take those tornado precautions immediately. Things have been very, very odd here in terms of switching direction or strengthening and weakening very quickly here as the parameters are there, but we weren't expecting the storms to develop like this, and that's why that threat here is really overachieved. But a potentially large tornado is on the ground here in the vicinity of Shawnee, a town of about 30,000 folks there in Oklahoma. So we really needed to take those tornado precautions. So what does that mean when you take those tornado precautions? You want to seek shelter inside a sturdy building. You want to just go ahead and get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And you may want to make sure you protect yourself from flying everywhere by putting on a bicycle helmet or football helmet. And in this part of the country, contrary to what we have in other parts of the country, like where I'm at in North Florida, basement might be about the best option here if you don't have like a storm shelter that's underground here, which is another option, a little bit different in terms of some of those tornado precaution procedures here in this part of the country versus other portions of our nation. So again, a very dangerous situation in a higher populated area of about 30,000 folks there. 30,000 folks there around Shawnee. A potentially significant tornado there impacting areas here on the west side of town. It would appear at this moment, seeing winds of 95 one way, 75 the other. They're not completely together, but they're talking about it here in chat that a tornado is likely impacting the west side of Shawnee right now. So again, I hope you took those tornado precautions. That's what we jumped on all the different platforms. A significant tornado, an EF2 plus tornado in a higher populated area of Oklahoma right now, causing significant damage, it would appear. Looking at this right now, you don't necessarily see a debris ball, but still, you wouldn't necessarily expect that in that setup. But you see the debris obviously on the correlation coefficient here, right in the vicinity of US 177. So again, a really serious situation around Shawnee, Oklahoma right now. The tornado was located a little while ago, here about 10 minutes ago near Tecumseh, but now it's around Shawnee here in Oklahoma. So again, the threat is really overachieved here tonight. The tornado threat was supposed to be confined more to areas toward the north here, toward Kansas, for instance. Instead, we've seen just a slew of tornado warnings here in Oklahoma. Again, KWTV, they're reporting injuries there in award areas around Cole, Oklahoma as well. We had that stream going there as it was really just coming through there, moving past that area earlier on as we were looking there off toward the west a little bit as things have really just come together. The effort, the latest information. Again, this is in a higher populated area, though, so that's why we're jumping on right now after all the reports we've been getting here tonight. You just hate to see it. You just hate to hear it. But a large and extremely dangerous tornado here as about 9:54 Central Time, located near Shawnee. As this is a considerable damage threat. An EF2 plus tornado likely on the ground here around Shawnee, if not in the town. You see it there. It's going to go right there near the airport, maybe just east of it or right near it. We're seeing winds now 104 one way, unbelievable, at only 1,000 feet up. And we're seeing winds of 90-40 the other way, which gets you close in theory. Hopefully it's not reaching like this, but in theory, as they're getting closer together now, like you see, just with plus and minuses here, in different aspects here of the world, that would get you here closer to 200 miles per hour worth of wind. Hopefully that's not reaching like that, but obviously that's very significant, very serious. The debris signature wouldn't necessarily suggest that, quite honestly, but still, this I would just call it at least an EF2 plus a tornado on the ground here. And let's look at our EF scale real quick. So let's just say at least winds of 111 miles an hour are likely here, reaching down toward the surface in this area for tornadoes on the ground. So again, just got to really be taking shelter here in this area close toward, it looks like there's some other roadways here in the area. We have some of these small roads showing up in our system, but again, US 270 is where it's at right now, folks. A large tornado here around Shawnee, Oklahoma. As we look at the topography, you see it probably just hit the west side of town, folks. And that's not good. Let's just take a look here because it can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Maybe we got lucky and it kind of missed more of the homes and hit that it really hit. I mean, as we're looking here, hopefully it missed more than it hit. But again, we're just going to have to continue to watch this. You see it taking a little jog there. They're continuing this tornado warning. Haven't gotten tornado emergency. Haven't had any of those tonight. I honestly think as we're looking off toward the west, could have had one, but it doesn't really matter when here and now. If you have a tornado emergency or not a tornado warning like we have here for Pottawatomie County in Oklahoma, is something that folks have to take seriously, as we've had history of these storms producing significant tornadoes here tonight, folks. Again, not really anticipated to ramp up to this kind of level, but the parameters, the STP values are really high. Excuse me, really high here, really significant. That's not what you want to see, obviously. And these storms, since they got going, they want to take advantage of all these higher parameters, and that's obviously problematic. So, again, a dangerous situation right now here in Oklahoma. You see the STP values, even in the north towards Stillwater. We'll just have to see. I mean, we've had some things kind of off. If you can get things to kind of be suppressed more, you'll be on a better side of things. But still, a dangerous situation here in Oklahoma that was honestly not really expected to be to this high of magnitude, but it is Oklahoma, and we're getting closer to May, so you got to expect the unexpected. You have a tornado watch there, a tornado watch toward Tulsa. We were expecting some tornadic action in the north, but it wasn't supposed to be anything overwhelming. It really hadn't been. Had some tornado reports here and there, but we'll continue to look at the latest. There's a tornado watch for Topeka, Emporia, St. Joe's up there. So you can see there Manhattan is well on the bottom. I'll move it up just a little so you see that. That's Kansas State University. Omaha's kind of back behind there. At this point, you see areas there from Des Moines westward per se, or just west of Des Moines under tornado watch too. But Pottawatomie County, Oklahoma is the reason we're on right now. Our shear rate product over the last little bit. Look at that, how I just picked up around Bethel Acres. Around Bethel Acres there. In Oklahoma, folks. Again, a very serious situation tonight. We were not really expecting that to come on, but things have just ramped up to such a high level now in terms of these severities on these storms. You just hate seeing stuff like this. I'll be curious to hear some reports from the Shawnee Municipal Airport, but again, you can see here we're getting winds on this anyway, and hopefully there's some type of contamination or some type of issue. I think things, I'm hoping, have been overdone a little bit on this, because if they haven't been, we're going to have more damage than we realize here as we wake up and daylight really kind of shows the devastation in the ward areas. But we're right now seeing winds of 74 one way, and it looks like about 111 the other way. So again, that's getting in the higher 100 ranges there in miles per hour of wind. So again, that's really problematic. So again, looking at things right now, debris is not showing up as much as I would think, though, that it would here in this type of situation. But nonetheless, this is a large and extremely dangerous tornado, as being indicated by the Weather Service. A life-threatening situation here. Again, considerable damage to homes and then really vehicles. Really could be impacted here, and complete destruction is possible, especially to mobile homes. So that's something to keep in mind here. You do not want to be messing around with this kind of weather action. Again, this is in Shawnee, Oklahoma. For perspective here, we're looking off down. It looks like here east on I-40 from Oklahoma City. They're looking better now. Oklahoma City, Moore, and Norman. They had some storms earlier on. The metro didn't get hit as hard though as outlying communities, though. They're still under tornado watch officially, but we'll go ahead and switch back on over to other mode. I have it on dew points right now if you're wondering, but I'll go to temperature. And we're being told here in Pottawatomie County, a storm spotter there indicating that tree limbs are everywhere. Power lines are down across the road there, 1 mile west-southwest of Shawnee in Oklahoma. It's impassable there just with everything that's going on. And a new tornado warning is going to be issued for Lincoln County now, southern Lincoln County in Oklahoma, because of the erratic tornado motion. It's been so erratic. We've had storms here with the rotation of points. I mean, a circulation will just want to go off toward the north and west because they're including the spins are right now. It looks like that spin is just north of the airport there by a little ways. And it looks like this one might be trying to go back off toward the west a little bit too now. Maybe it'll start to fade, but look here, this is the view from about 10 minutes ago, and I'll put it in motion. You see it going northeast and north, and now it looks like it might want to wobble to the west. If nothing else, it's going more north, though, which is very odd. This is a very erratic situation here that, again, it's Oklahoma, so you always got to be prepared. Kind of like Florida always, in hurricane season, has to be prepared for hurricanes. Kind of always have to be prepared here for tornadoes in Oklahoma, but this was not really expected to reach this level of magnitude here in terms of the impacts. The parameters are supposed to be there in terms of significant tornadic action, but we weren't supposed to have the storms really get going enough to be able to do stuff like this here. And it's just a really unfortunate situation, folks. Everything came together in the worst way here, and we're just gonna have to really be monitoring the reports here over the next little bit toward Oklahoma. You see some of these areas of purple and black, indicative of large hail. That's been a story here tonight as well. I know we're going to expect more severe potential as we look in the days to come toward the south and east of these zones. We'll have to see if that overachieves really as well. I know we're getting new reports in right now, so bear with me. 5,531 customers in the dark in Oklahoma, according to PowerOutage.us, but there may be an undercounting of things because some of these spots are in more rural zones. So that's something to keep in mind here as well. Probably keep the stream going until we lose the PDS wording from the NASA Weather Service there in Norman, but they're using it still to describe the situation. At about 10:02, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is located near Shawnee, moving north at about 25 miles an hour. So there's your circulation right there, just right near the interstate, right near I-40. Hope nobody was driving on I-40 there because we had a tornado cross the interstate. More than likely, if that was down, it went right over the interstate there. The debris has been kind of a little bit less conclusive than you would generally expect, so maybe there's a reason for hope. But again, I know there's all sorts of spotters out here, and they're using those, they're taking those into account, and that's something to keep in mind here too with some of these warnings. But again, looking right now at the wind speeds, we're seeing this purple here, 101 one way, and the brightest red to pink is 64, so that gets you to about 160 miles per hour worth of wind. Luckily, this is starting to leave the more populated area, though, and it'll be moving kind of due north here. You see Oklahoma 18 there. It's just off toward the west of that. We'll have to see kind of how this goes. It may go off more to the wind. Looks like it's going in the back. It's up. Looks like it's including back toward the north and west here, or north-northwest at least. So very bizarre situation here tonight in Oklahoma. As we're looking there, you see the community of Johnson, Oklahoma. You see Meeker. We'll have to see if it goes back to the east here, but probably not. But damage has been done here in parts of Oklahoma. You just hate seeing stuff like that that we're getting reports of here into the Weather Center right now. So, again, looking right now, winds 70 one way pretty much, and 117, if not 123 the other way. So, very significant one here as this tornado likely just crossed I-40 there in parts of the Pottawatomie County area as this is headed up toward parts of Lincoln County in Oklahoma here tonight. So again, a very serious situation. Debris, let's go up a little bit. Maybe there's some interference here to lower levels. Well, you're not able to see a lot even if they go higher up. But again, we're going to keep watching things, keep tracking things. I'll go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Again, Interstate 40 in there just passed, and luckily this is the only area really watching for a tornado threat at this point, which is some good news. But it's been a bizarre night, one of the more surprising nights here. Probably we're going to see all decade in terms of ramping up that tornado potential here on a dime. There was a tornado watch issued here because there was at least a threat of lower end tornadic action, but really not many people in the meteorology community foresaw something like this evolving on us here tonight. So again, just really a bad situation here. Looking at the probabilities on the watch earlier, there was a low chance of one or more strong tornadoes, 20%. we had one or more strong tornadoes here tonight. So that just kind of goes to say here, things really overachieved as we're looking at some new information coming on in right now to the Weather Center from the National Weather Service in Norman. Spotter there, and the spotter network is saying 1 mile north of Shawnee that power lines are down over the road. Hopefully we don't get damage reports worse than that, but we probably will. Look at that, it's still going. It just doesn't want to break up here, folks. We're seeing winds of 82 one way now and 102 the other way. Again, this is just west there of State Road 18. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. You see there might be some homes out there. Looks like there are some sparsely there in that region. So again, let me go ahead, and they're telling us it's strengthening here as the storm X and Shawnee. So again, that's just terrible, terrible news here for folks. We'll be awaiting word from some of the different areas around the Surrey Pride that has picked up there around Bethel Acres. This blue here is just maxing out its over our color table for the rotation because it's just so vigorous here in nature. Just so vigorous here in nature, folks. And it wasn't quite this wide, obviously, so it's going to be kind of hard to tell for sure exactly what was hit. But nonetheless here, it could have hit areas there on the west side of Shawnee, as we are now getting word in from the Weather Service that the mesonet there in Shawnee, 3 miles north-northwest there anyway, reported a gust to 84 miles an hour. So a hurricane force gust there in Shawnee, Oklahoma here tonight, folks, in that vicinity at least, in Pottawatomie County. So again, a really serious situation. Again, we've had stuff to the west. Again, the station there in Oklahoma City, News 9, the CBS affiliate, KWTV, reporting their injuries, at least there, toward the community further out toward the west there, of course, coal there. So again, you hate seeing stuff like that. Very bad stuff there out toward that area west there of Goldsby and Norman and Noble there as well. So again, Norman, of course, is where OU is. They have dodged a bullet, it seems, tonight in terms of any nasty tornadic accident, but still, this has been a terrible night for some of their neighbors here in the state of Oklahoma as things really turned on a dime. But this is technically what people really call Tornado Alley. Generally May's the peak here, early May or so. But again, this was not supposed to be a higher end threat tonight. These storms have had an odd characteristic to them, if not multiple odd characteristics here. I mean, having this erratic movement, things are switching direction here. That's very hard to issue warnings on. That's why things are so crazy, these warnings. It was headed east and it was headed north, and I mean, maybe northeast a little bit even, and now more north. And you kind of just see here, that's why they haven't issued the polygons, the ones to the south. Here, especially the one at the far south in there, that one probably drops soon, but one here in the middle, it's moving out of that one and toward the area that could be closer to Meeker, but again, it could kind of sit back here in direction a little bit, as they're telling us here now. The next area to watch will be an area of convergence there on an appendage east of Shawnee near Johnston. So, again, I think I mean Johnson. So let me go ahead and see what they're saying here. Down toward the southeast. There is some weak rotation there. I mean, we've seen in one scan literally go from hardly nothing to just a significant tornado here with a debris signature tonight. So that's something you're not used to seeing here. Again, looking toward the Interstate I-40 there. That's where that other appendage is. We'll continue to watch, but as we look up toward the north and west here, you can see 70 miles an hour one way, again 100 the other way. So that could be, in theory at least, as the debris becomes more pronounced now, it could be winds to 170 miles an hour, the absolute maximum. It may not be quite that high though, because of some different factors, because it seems like that would really be kind of pushed in the higher end of things, but still a significant, a strong nocturnal tornado. We weren't really expecting them ahead of time until when the tornado watch was issued, really. At least that threat coming into play this evening, that really catches people off guard, and you hate to see it. So we are now being told sirens are sounding there in Meeker, Oklahoma, Meeker. The sirens are going off. Obviously, you can utilize those. You can utilize there the weather radios there in play. Checking to see if there's any questions here right now. I see somebody from Shawnee was watching here just a moment ago. So if they were in Shawnee proper, if you were in Shawnee there proper, Stacy, it looks like a situation that you at least made it through at this point, since that was from 2 minutes ago. I mean, depending on where your address is, it's north of town now. You see the pinks there and the purples trying to come together. It's north of the airport. Also, somebody on Twitch is asking, how does Kansas look? I'll go ahead and go on over that area right now. There aren't any tornado warnings up there at this point, which is good news. And that's where the threat was supposed to be initially, but it wasn't enough to turn the logo red. And honestly, this threat was not something that we would have needed to do so for, but things are just taking a turn. We haven't done it because things are just happening here and now so quickly here. In terms of the overall setup here, we decided to defer that and just focus on what's happening here in the here and now. So let's go ahead and go back up to the north here. You can see in the north parts of Kansas there, west of Kansas City, we do have a couple storms there in that state. Severe thunderstorm warning and play the zoom on in toward Lawrence. So University of Kansas there, we're talking about 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-size hail. There's also an area where a tornado watch is in play just to the west there, but that's not the biggest threat at this point, but can't completely rule a severe thunderstorm becoming a tornado producer here. And we're talking about Manhattan, Kansas, so that's Kansas State University. They're also under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. That's the other one in the state. It looks like 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail. The public reported quarter-size hail there at 9:52 Central Time in Manhattan, so Kansas State Wildcats and the Kansas Jayhawks, both with severe thunderstorm warnings in play right now. Those are the only two it would appear in the state, but gustier winds off toward the west there, west of Hayes there, north of Garden City. So just trying to give you guys the latest there. And our Twitch user there, thanks so much for tuning in as well. Same with our YouTube user and all of our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch viewers here tonight. I see you're in Manhattan there on Twitch. So again, you're having some of that storminess around now with the tornado watch in play too. So that tornado watch says it's expired at 11 o'clock Central Time. Set to expire then. So hopefully things will start to fade. But right now, you still got storm in your vicinity. That's pretty strong there. Not as much lightning right in town, more to the north. So hopefully it's starting to kind of move away the worst of this, which will be some good news there around Manhattan. Some more stuff to the south. We'll have to wait and see. Things have been so erratic here today. I don't want to discount any possibility, but hopefully we'll start to get that wind shift in there, and that'll help things out there around Manhattan. But there in the state of Kansas, they call it the little apple there, really, in the geography world. So again, let's go ahead and go back down to the south here. The reason we're on right now, we got a new tornado warning for a large and extremely dangerous tornado there toward Lincoln and Pottawatomie counties in Oklahoma. Not good stuff, and not good stuff at all. We're talking about the warning expiring at 11 o'clock Central Time now, as we're going to go ahead and go on over to another source here. Go to another source. You can see what's going on there south of Meeker. South of Meeker right now. We're just continuing to monitor things with that very nasty circulation. It's not broken up as much as you would think with an occlusion. But by the way, we're also being told now of some reports here in the Shawnee area. KWTV anyway, the CBS affiliate there in Oklahoma City is reporting that a vehicle was hit by the tornado. It would appear there in the Shawnee area. So not what you want to see, not what you want to hear. Again, that's reporting just coming in here right now. The CBS affiliate in Oklahoma City with a report out of Shawnee indicating a vehicle has been hit by a tornado. So we'll continue to follow along for the latest on that. So again, just trying to pass along all the different reports there. Again, that's from the CBS affiliate. I'm not associated with them or anything like that. Just important media report here suggestive of the power of the tornado that has came through there in toward parts of Pottawatomie County and becoming a bigger threat now for parts of Lincoln County here in Oklahoma. So again, a situation here, a situation you just never want to see evolve on us. Continuing to follow the very latest here in the Weather Center. You see that area there southeast of Johnson. right near the interstate. Right now, this is a thunderstorm warning. We're talking about areas there. It looks like a Seminole and Oklahoma, Lincoln, Pottawatomie counties into that into about 11. So that's kind of storyline there. We're talking about golf ball size hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind gust possibilities. Again, we'll just keep tracking things, keep looking at things. Again, once we get that PDS warning dropped on that storm here with the Shawnee, we'll probably drop coverage. Now you're only tornado warning box, which is a little bit interesting compared to what we've been seeing here, but this one is a particularly dangerous situation, so it's up there with the highest level of tornado warning action that we've seen tonight, because we have not had a tornado emergency. I'm a little surprised, to be quite honest. I mean, but that didn't mean that we haven't had something really bad happen towards some of these communities. There's specific criteria for that, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just things are happening so quick. Getting the tornado warning out is all that matters here. And the Norman office has done a great job of doing that in a very erratic, very quickly moving environment. So again, we're being told right now, Meeker Fire and PD evaluating some things. I know they're actually, I'll clear that up there, evacuating their units to clear the path of the tornado. So I wonder where they're evacuating to, because don't evacuate west, because that's where I'd be occluding to. This is an odd movement here. If you're moving your units, you actually probably want to move them northeast. It's very tough to say, though, because this is not something that's typical. This is very atypical stuff, and you could kind of get yourself in a bad position here if you're not careful. So, again, just continuing to give you guys the latest right now. Here at about 10:17 Central Time right now. You see some very nasty winds there just on the east side of Johnson, it would appear. Our velocities are going pretty high with these 70, 80 miles an hour, not out of the question there, but the warning's just for 60, so maybe some of this wind is not transporting all the way down to the surface, as we're being told here right now that in Pottawatomie County, another spotter there in the spotter network is saying 3-inch trees are over the road with power lines down. So again, this is some information we're getting in right now here in the Weather Center. So again, trying to give you guys the latest here. We're trying to give you guys the latest heads up on things right now at 10:18 on this Wednesday. Again, if you're just tuning in, things we were talking about them last night. There was a slight risk of severe weather bordering areas like this. But really more of a marginal, and I mean, some areas further east weren't even under risk formally at all last night, but Oklahoma City was right on the edge of that slight risk, and unfortunately things have overachieved. They've been more productive in the wrong way than initially anticipated here, and that's caused problems, including, again, the reports from KWTV there in Oklahoma City of injuries around the Cole, Oklahoma community when a significant tornado, at least an EF2, probably stronger than that, though, came on through. We were streaming that radar right after that came on through there on the different platforms, but also we retweeted some stuff there on Twitter. Been retweeting stuff all night at Cloud Casey in these situations that are kind of evolving on the fly. We try to do stuff like that sometimes, but again, EF2, we've had multiple strong tornadoes here tonight, multiple significant tornadoes. That's EF2 plus. I don't want to go more detail than that because I haven't seen a lot of the damage because it's now dark out there and the like, but still, we've had multiple significant tornadoes. We've been able to tell by our limited damage photos that I've seen, and also just the radar signatures of the debris heights, but probably had something more significant than that at that one especially. So, again, just continuing to give you guys the latest. Let's pull up those tornado safety tips here again. When the tornado watch is in play like they are in play up toward Tulsa and so those areas here later on, you just want to make sure you stay tuned for the latest updates. Have those multiple methods to receive alerts in case one of those fails here. And then a tornado warning means a tornado has been detected using radar or spotted. This one's been on the ground here around Shawnee over the last little bit. You just want to seek shelter inside a sturdy building and get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet or football helmet. So again, that's just kind of the storyline there right now. So I know I have to watch there U.S. Highway 62 here in the next little bit. This could be crossing that here a little bit later on in the timeline if this tornadic circulation holds together. So we'll just kind of have to keep tracking that here for you. But let's go ahead right now and see where it's at the present time. Looks a little bit weaker right now. To be some good news, but still in the vicinity of Meeker here in Oklahoma. I don't see the debris like it was showing up here a moment ago. Just trying to become a little more obvious there at points, but right now not showing that as much. So that's some good news as it starts to move out of Pottawatomie County and Lincoln County. So hopefully it's not as bad of a situation as it was. I know there's some other questions about different storms here in the Norman's office's jurisdiction. So let's go ahead and see what's going on here. At the present time, you see some gusts earlier, some clear air off towards some of these other spots, though. So we'll just have to keep on watching here. Keep on tracking things again. Definitely having some damage reports there according to KWTV as well in toward the Shawnee area. So you hate seeing stuff like that, hearing about stuff like that. So again, they're now calling this a confirmed base tornado warning. So that's some good news here in some regard. Base confirmed tornado warning, I should say, in terms of not calling it PDS anymore, at least. So that's a step in the right direction here. Because of the history of these storms, I'm going to give it another scan or two to see how it impacts the area around Meeker here, and then I'll probably wrap this up. And we'll be watching tomorrow. We'll be watching the next day as well, as we have several days of threats here from the national standpoint. But earlier on, about 22 minutes ago there, just northwest of Shawnee proper, a Mesonet site reported a thunderstorm wind gust of 84 miles an hour. So that's really problematic, obviously. A hurricane force wind gust here in Oklahoma, and there's damage again towards Shawnee in parts of that state. So again, things look better on the velocity. Not when we saw this down in the south. Let me put my mouse on the screen here to explain what I'm kind of talking about here. You can see about 1,000 feet here. You saw just the blues indicative of winds going toward the red in Oklahoma City, strong ones, and then the reds away. And I'll back this up even more here. You saw how well put together that was, and now that's become a lot weaker. Doesn't mean it couldn't pop back up, but you never know how this pattern is so erratic. I hate to count anything out, but more than likely, this is kind of a situation here that bad us up some more. We have a scenario here where things are just going to have trouble getting going to this extreme for at least the next little bit with this toward Meeker, but you still got to take your turn of precautions there around Meeker just in case. So again, that's kind of the storyline there. Again, the storyline there right now as we continue to watch, continue to track the situation here. Again, Meeker there in Oklahoma. You can see a little bit of red, but more of that darker area there, blue toward the east, some stronger winds coming towards some of those communities further off. They're like Prague or Prague, depending on that local pronunciation. But you can see here, Meeker, things are still showing some blues there as well around this spin with this setup. But things, again, aren't near as well defined as they were. You can kind of see here, had it wrapping up there. You can see it on the radar there as it was wrapping up. Getting further back, it was really well defined there around Shawnee. That's why we were so concerned. Look at that. I mean, that's your debris ball probably right in there. I mean, you can just see that's really textbook there, folks. And that's why we have a lot of damage reports starting to come in out of the highly populated Shawnee community, at least further toward the west there. So, again, something to kind of keep watching here. Still a official tornado warning around Meeker, but right now the gate-to-gate is a lot weaker with these storms. I wouldn't bet against anything, but right now things look better in terms of that. Still some hail threat though coming into town. I know there's still that threat. I just got that report there, in the chat. They're saying the same exact thing. The warning coordination meteorologist is telling us the tornado threat in Meeker is pretty much gone, but there is still a hail threat. So we're going to wrap it up for now. I hope you kind of got some information out of this stream that was helpful to you, your friends, and your family here. We'll go ahead real quick and see a couple more things before we wrap it up. You see our tornado watches here to the south, to the north. There's some of those as well. Some thunderstorm warnings, a couple in Kansas, some there north side of Des Moines. It looks like just going away from there, cool here to the north as well. And then I want to see the satellite here. That could be kind of interesting. You see some of the colder cloud tops. Definitely an interesting story. This stuff really came together. You see some of the more moist upper level conditions here more moisture in the upper levels. So that's the storyline there as well. Storm spotted out and about all over the place. I mean, a lot of them are in this vicinity, so if they see something evolving, even as it's starting to get going, they could be up there within a few hours of the event really starting to get going here and be on site. So again, even though this was not a really anticipated event, that's just the storyline there toward parts of that state. So keeping everybody in our thoughts and prayers here as we look toward this region. You can see stuff right now not as organized. This tornado warning is about to be dropped. It looks like, according to the reporting from the Weather Service. So again, we need to come back on for national concerns later on in the timeline. We'll be doing so obviously here, especially on YouTube there, Twitter, but then Facebook, Twitch if we deem it necessary, like we did here. And then you have just the website there, cloudweather.com/radar is a place I know to get an interactive look at things when we're not on the air. That can be really helpful. And we watch the storms toward the weekend here to see how they evolve on us. We keep an eye on our local area. Of course, we cut in for national concerns as needed, but our local area, we're always on for any tornado warning storm to move through any one of our 62 counties. So if you're not subscribed and you're in this area, toward our YouTube page, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. Hit that bell icon so you're notified of our live coverage when we come on the air, because I know sometimes different platforms like Facebook or just whatever you're on, sometimes maybe you don't get the notification quite as quick. So YouTube, that can help you out, but still have multiple ways to get alerts in case that doesn't come through as quick as you would like here. But this is just another method that you can have in your toolkit in terms of being on, because we've been on for every tornado warning storm moving through 62 counties here, our 62 counties since late 2019. So that's kind of the storyline there. So just keep that in mind. And we're on for national level concerns as needed, the tornado emergencies, significant outbreaks. This wasn't supposed to be one, but it started to become a bigger story. We had a radar stream for a little while earlier, some tweets there, retweets there at Cloud Casey on Twitter. So trying to keep you guys safe, keep you guys informed on a busy night it turned out to be across parts of Oklahoma. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me, as I know more questions are coming in about the tornado watch. Some of this areas out toward Lawton, I know they're looking toward this region there, wondering if this watch toward Ardmore, if maybe that'll be dropped here. Hopefully it will, but we'll just have to see how the Storm Prediction Center kind of plays things out. The office there in Norman's been really busy over the last little bit, so that hadn't really been at the front of their mind here, but it'll start to be as we look later in the word of nocturnal hours. But still stay weather aware. Have multiple ways to get warnings. You see a new severe thunderstorm warning there toward Creek and Ofusky counties there in Oklahoma. The Tulsa office is issuing one for a golf ball size here on 70-mile-an-hour gust, and the tornado possible tag in there as well. So gotta keep looking at things here as the night goes on, and as we look toward tomorrow, areas further downstream toward the east, toward the south, will be paying attention here too. And you can get those latest outlooks, cloudweather.com/severe, as they come out later in the night.